What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Virzi Effect podcast show. My name is Paul Virzi, and you guys are listening to episode 527. I am flying solo on this episode. I just had to redo this, but luckily I didn't do a long episode. I did like 5 minutes and realized that there was something wrong with the sound and microphone and all that. And you people deserve good sound. You people deserve good camera angles. Look, I got the jacket on. I got the chains out. What else do you want for a solo Virzi effect? A lot of people, though, actually don't realize that I'm doing this thing on YouTube, and you could see my pretty face, my bald head, my groomed up fucking beard. They think that it's still audio. So thanks to everybody who spreading the word. I want to thank all of my new listeners to the Virzi effect. I want to thank all of the old school Virzi effectors. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You could see full episodes. Thank everybody for their kind words about my previous episode with Adam Ferreira and all the other recent guests. We're going to have more guests. And I'll be doing the Virzi effect in a studio in New York City with other guests when I don't do solo. When I do solo, I'll just do this here in my home studio with, you know, the posters, the New York Football Giants sign over the door, this foam, this soundproof foam, which I'm still not 100% convinced isn't a hoax. But anyway, I will be in New York City in a Virzi Effect studio there with guests sometimes too. So the show is definitely growing. So thank you. Get the Virzi Effect podcast everywhere you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify. And I really do appreciate it. And please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, which we started in the pandemic. And we're about almost 5,000 subscribers during this time since I've switched over to do this thing, you know, with cameras and all that other stuff. And like I said, you guys will see us in a studio in the city soon. Now, I want to get right into this episode. Okay, I want to get right into this episode. This is 527, and I want to talk about something that's increasingly scary, sucks, and it's about New York City, guys. It's about what's going on in New York City, and you know, it's sad to see because it's where I got my bones. It's where I went into learn how to pretty much do stand-up and get better at stand-up and do it the right way and get more honest and all that stuff, being around so many great comedians and great joke writers and stuff. So New York City is obviously near and dear to my heart. I've had some of the most amazing moments in my career there and in my life, really. I've got to share amazing moments in New York City with my family, such as going to Times Square, seeing a billboard of myself for my special. I got to share that with my wife and kids. I got to perform at amazing comedy clubs and venues throughout New York City, clubs, theaters, all of that thing, all of the things you dream about, getting into amazing comedy clubs, all of those things. And guys, New York City right now is fucking riddled with crime. It's so bad. And unfortunately, I know this all too well because I do have a couple of friends who are police officers there. And the things that I'm hearing, seeing, reading, is really, really fucked up. And this is one thing that I'm like, what annoys me about some New Yorkers is that they're delusional or they just don't want to accept the sad truth. And the sad truth is what I just said in New York City is going on. I don't want it to be right. I don't want it to be real. Okay, I want to be there talking shit. I want to be on this podcast going, fuck any other city. New York City is the GOAT, which, listen, I believe that it is, but where it is right now, it's a big problem. And you got these people going out to a packed restaurant now, and there's some festive stuff going on in the streets, and they put their camera up going, yeah, New York City's really dead. Ha, ha, ha. It's like, fuck you. You went to eat dinner, and then you went in your house. Go ride the subway. Go ride the subway every night and see what happens. Go ride the train. Because you know what? Somebody was walking behind somebody on the train. Guy pulled out a gun and shot him in the back of the head just because, walked off the train. I know people that got spit on in their face. I know people that got punched in their face. I heard about stabbings. People are pushing people on platforms. The crime down under the streets in New York City right now is on another fucking level. Okay. And everybody that lives there is like trying to downplay it. And it's like, no, that's what happened. There's a reason why there's a statistic of gun violence that was up. I don't know what it is now, but a few months back, up 77% gun violence. I have a friend who's a cop. He told me a couple people pulled out a gun and then everybody around the person pulled out a gun. And it was like the Wild West and there's guns everywhere. So that's the unacceptable. That's the biggest unacceptable ever, is that you are not that safe on the subway system in New York City. And anybody's going to say, oh, those are isolated incidents. Fuck that. It's happening every other day at some stop. There's attacks. A guy was standing on the train the other day going by Canal Street. A guy pulled out a knife and just stuck it in his arm a couple times and ran off. And the guy got sent to Bellevue Hospital or whatever. This shit is ridiculous. It's getting out of hand, and it's to the point where either people aren't like mad enough or they think it's just going to go away. And yeah, man. So I don't even know why I'm starting a podcast that's a comedy podcast with this. But when I live in New York City, when I work in New York City, it's a city that I used to live in. It's a city that I drive in. I'm driving in there tonight. I'll be in New York City tonight. I got 3 shows tonight in New York City. I'm leaving here right after this podcast. And you know what? I used to love to do my show, maybe walk to a pizzeria, grab a slice, maybe hang out a little bit. Nope, not anymore. I do my shit. I get in my car. I get the fuck out of there. And it's really sad. So anybody who is really realistic and understands New York City knows what's going on. And all these assholes going, look, we're out here in the park having fun. Yeah, New York City's dead, you dummies. Yeah, okay. Go fucking walk around at night, okay? Go take your grandmother and mother down on the subway with their fucking, and see what happens and feel 100% safe. All right, because there's people that are broke now. There's mentally ill people. There's people that get arrested and getting released. It's really fucked up. That is unacceptable. New York City needs to come back. And the only way New York City is going to come back is if you lay the fucking hammer down. And I hope it's not too late. I really do. Don't know why I started the podcast with this shit. Because I'm probably rounding some people up. But it sucks, man. It sucks. I took my whole family the other night to a Knicks game, and it was great. But all I'm thinking is we're going to eat near the Garden. We're going to fucking go to this game, and then we're going to get in a car, and let's just get the hell out of here. And it wasn't like, oh, let's walk around, see what's going on. It was like, hey, stay close. Stay close. Everybody stay with me. You're sitting here feeling like I'm going to be the one who takes the attack for my family. And it's like, it shouldn't feel that way. It shouldn't feel that way. And that's what's going on right now. So I don't know what's going on in your city, but being a comic and being able to go to all these cities fucking, most of these major cities, they fucking stink now. They're dangerous. It's not fun. You can feel it. Everybody's on edge. You see more fucking homeless. You see more fucking mentally ill people running around doing all this shit. And you're like, fine, like help that person. Where are the shelters? Where is the help? What's going on? Why are people out here angry, broke, and committing crimes? And it's just like, well, I hope it gets better. And I don't know if it will. So there's your unacceptable. There's your unacceptable, that slowly watching one of the greatest cities ever go back. My buddy was telling me that there's just crack pipes everywhere. Like New York City is now, I used to drive on the FDR with my dad when I was a little kid. We would drive and I'd be in the back and I would watch my dad drive, and we'd go, and there was this big sign that said crack is whack off the FDR. And that was like the 80s because there was a problem then. And it's like back to that. So it's actually good reason that fucking mural is still there. And I hate to talk like this about New York. I love New York. New York, dude. When New York is thriving, there's nothing better. There's nothing better. And I think it can get better, but I just don't like these naive assholes who live there. So because they're stuck there, they see one fun restaurant and they're going, we're back, baby. We're back, baby. Yeah. And then they come out of the fucking up the subway thing with an arrow through their fucking neck, and it's like, you're not back. You're not back. And here's the other thing. Cops don't want it. There's not enough cops down there. People, you know what it is? People are so dumb and they're so selfish and they're so narcissistic that they think because their situation for that moment is okay. We're at brunch. Yeah. Look at Susie with her fucking Bloody Mary, woo, New York City. Yeah, yeah. Tell Susie to go down to the fucking, tell Susie to go down by the, in the middle of the night down there by the fucking 7 train or whatever, see what happens. Okay. What they're not showing you is how they're getting a fucking Uber double XL bulletproof after their fucking brunch and their Bloody Mary. That's the shit they're not showing you. Fuck out of here. Everybody's full of shit. There's big problems down there and it needs to stop. Just because places are starting to get busy again doesn't mean things are safe. Doesn't get safe until people who commit a crime know that there's going to be serious repercussions. There's going to be serious consequences. Not get arrested and then because of the bail reform or whatever, walk out that day, because that's what's happening. And you know why I'm talking about this? I'm talking about this because now it is affecting me because I have friends down there. I go down there. I got to watch my family being down there. I got to worry about friends going down there. And yeah, I'm trying to figure out how anything's going to get funny after this. It's a comedy podcast. I came out here like fucking Dateline. You know, next up, 2 teens shot at a bodega in Queens. We'll be back with weather and traffic. No, it's one of those things where I was thinking about the people that act like it's okay. And then you wish you could drag them in and get and show them a report of what's really going on and go, what about this? And I'm going to end up ranting about this shit on my Instagram live at one point or another. I know, guys. I know what you're thinking. Holy shit. How do you get your beard that good? It's because I trimmed it down. I use certain shampoos to soften it. I got all kinds of shit for it. So there you go. I just got blurry. All right. Anyway, what else is going on? I want to thank everybody. Speaking of places where you're worried and not the greatest places, and I'm just being honest here, I was in Syracuse, New York, and I had such a good time at the Funny Bone in Syracuse. I joke about it. It's in a mall. I heard there's parts that aren't the nicest, but I went in there and I got to tell you, Saturday's show was sold out. The first show Saturday was, no, there's only one show Saturday, sold out. So it was amazing. I had fans in there. There were fans in there yelling out some of my jokes from my first special. There were podcast fans, and it was really, really nice. And I got to tell you, the club, there's new management. Something's better about that club. And it was awesome. The staff was awesome. It just was really, really great. And I had a really good time. And I want to thank everybody who came out. I know I goof on Syracuse, but I had a good time. Don't get me wrong. I did get in my car and leave right the fuck away. I got out of there. But I'll just leave it. Until shit gets safe. I'm not hanging out. But I did do this Friday night. I'll talk about this. Friday night, I saw Jackass Forever by myself. I do the show. It was a fun show. I got into Syracuse like Friday evening, and it was an early show. So, no, I'm sorry. I got in Friday evening, and it was like, I got in around 6:30, and it was an 8:00 show. So I do the show, and I'm like, well, I'm not really drinking right now. I'm trying to trim down. I'm on the diet. I'm not drinking. I'm really watching what I'm eating, and it's working. Things are feeling better. So I'm like, what could I do? I was like, I almost went to a cigar lounge. In Syracuse, but they were like, the good one is like a 20-minute drive. It's like 20 degrees outside. I'm like, I don't want to do that. All right. So I extended an invitation to the comedians that were on the show. But people all had commutes. But I was like, hey, guys, I'm going to stay in the mall. I'm going to go see Jackass Forever right now. If anybody wants to join me, you can. Everyone's like, oh, man, I can't. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going by myself. So I go to the movies, and I try to – how hard – you want to talk about something that's hard? How hard is it to eat healthy at a movie? I'm like, should I get a Diet Coke? Should I get a water? So here's what I did. I got a water and a small popcorn. And I'm not going to lie, I got Raisinets, because I'm like, look, they're raisins, a little chocolate coated. What can you do? But I'll get a small pot. And the small popcorn was actually small. It wasn't like a movie theater small. It was a real small little bag. and I got water and Raisinets. And I'm like, I'll live with this. I'm not drinking. I'm not boozing. I'm not going to be drunk and order a fucking pizza at 2:00 in the morning. So let's do that. I go into Jackass, and I am not going to lie. Opening scene of Jackass, I said, oh my God, thank God I listened to my wife. Thank God I did not take my son to this movie or his friends. I wanted to take my son, who's 12, and some of his friends to the movie. And my wife goes, I don't know if that's inappropriate. And I'm thinking like, she means the cursing. No. Opening scene is just dick and balls, just dick and balls. There's ball sacks everywhere. There's shit. There's penises being clamped to this. It was so gross that I didn't finish the popcorn. I finished the Raisinets. I'm not going to lie, but I didn't finish the popcorn. Dude, I was watching dick balls, pig semen, I was watching some of the grossest stuff now I'm not going to lie. As far as funny stuff, yeah, there was some really, really funny. There were 2 or 3 parts where I laughed out loud in the movie theater hard. And I was by myself, and then there were just 2 other couples. So this giant movie theater, this giant Regal movie theater, and it's 2 couples and me spread out in this whole auditorium. And there were 2 or 3 parts where I was laughing like an absolute lunatic, like keeled over in my thing laughing. But then all of a sudden there would be some like animal semen or like dick and balls out. And, so I was, there was some parts where I laughed, but I was so grossed out after this movie that I was like, well, at least I don't need any snacks. At least I'm not going to eat anything. There was vomiting. There was blood. There was literally just blood, sweat, tears, semen, pain, broken bones, concussions. It was a lot. It was a lot. And, but hey, it passed the time. And then this is how weird of a night I had. I'm done that movie. So I'm done around midnight, right? The movie was 10 something, midnight, a little after. I was go back to the hotel. Hotel's not far from the theater. And it's like 12 something. I'm laying in bed and I'm not drinking, but I'm up. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So then I watch another movie. All right. This is the movie episode, I guess, or So as far as the Virzi effect review on Jackass Forever, some people said it's the best Jackass ever. I don't know about that. It was really funny, but gross. But I don't know. I put it up there as just like with the other ones. I like the stuff that's not that gross, like when he went in as a grandfather and the guy fell off a crane and landed on something that shot him up into the ceiling. Like I laugh at shit like that, like the balls out and the dick out and all that stuff, and shitting and like stapling yourself till you bleed. I don't really care for that, but I would say it was good and entertaining. But had I known, actually, no, I was bored that night, so I would have went. But I think it's also a great one to wait until it gets to your home, where you're home alone and or everyone's sleeping, and then you watch it. Then I went back to the hotel. I was bored. I was still up, and I'm like, what else can I watch? And I watched the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2022 version, which is on Netflix. And the story plot was so incredibly stupid. The idea was so stupid. It was low budget, but boy, the killings were brutal. The killings were brutal. It had that, like, the feel where you're like, the bad guy always wins, like all the other Texas Chainsaw Massacres. Spoiler alert, there's one scene where all these people are on a bus chilling, and this dude goes on the bus with the chainsaw and just everybody. I mean, it was a bloodbath. So if you like horror and you like kills, and you like some like suspense and no bullshit, I'll say that. But the story of like why the kids were there and all that shit was really, really stupid. I thought really stupid. and like so far-fetched and ridiculous. But boy, were there some kills. I mean, this dude was, I don't know how CGI can make somebody get their body cut in half or head cut off. Like, I mean, this was like, I was just like, wow, man. I mean, some of it, of course, is going to look a little fake, and none of it's real, obviously, but they do a good job of making you be like, whoa, that was a little intense. So I went from Jackass to a slasher movie. So this is the emotions that my night had. Okay. This is the emotions. I'm telling jokes on stage in a mall, having a great time and laughing and enjoying myself. The crowd is obviously enjoying themselves, hopefully. And then I went to see Jackass, which was like gross, but fun, but shocking, but blah, blah, blah. And then I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre all hours of the night in my hotel and went to bed. So I don't even know what my dreams were. My dreams were probably like somebody getting killed in a porta potty with fireworks going up. I didn't even know what it was. But and then Saturday, I decide to do my show and drive home. And I do the show Saturday, and I'm so thankful. It's sold out. It was amazing. And I'm about to leave, and one of the comedians goes, "Hey, you're not driving home tonight, are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'm going to try to." And they go, "There's a big snowstorm." And the other comedian's like, "I don't think it's snowing." And I get in the car and I start driving. Mind you, I have like almost like a 4-hour drive. And there's like what do they call it? A squall, a white squall, a blizzard, whatever it was, for an hour and 15 minutes during this 4-hour ride. I'm in a whiteout blizzard, Okay. And I'm going to talk about something else that I'm reviewing. So this is basically the entertainment. I'm going to call this episode the Entertainment Center. Okay. Because it was movies, it was comedy, and then it was a crime podcast, which I'll get into. But I am on the road. You ever drive, you ever get in your car, right? And you're just like, yeah, I'm going to drive. I don't care. It's early. It was like 9:30 when I got in my car. I was like, okay, normally it's 3.5, 4 hours. Even if it takes me 5, I'm going home tonight. I'm going to get in my bed. And then like 35, 40 minutes in, you realize that you might've made a mistake, but I still wanted to go home. So I was like, I wasn't turning around and going another half hour back in the snow. I was like, I'm going home. And I was like, I'll wait 7 fucking hours. I don't care. And it is a blizzard and cars are spinning off. There's like emergency. There's cop cars helping people. Cars are doing 1.8, and I'm just going 40 miles an hour, if that, for an hour and 15 minutes. And I'm going, and I call my wife. My wife's like, turn back. I'm like, babe, I can't even see. Why I wouldn't even, there's so much wind and white snow, like the snow everywhere. It's like a whiteout in front of me. I wouldn't even know how to get off. I would have to look at the GPS and then I'm just going to go. I'm going home. I know the directions. I'm going home. And so then as time goes by, maybe an hour and a half, whatever, it starts to lighten. I could see a little better. And I'm like, I'm going to go home. But now I got like 2 hours and 45 minutes left. And I'm still going only around 60 because it's 20 degrees outside. So I know there could be black ice. I don't want to spin out and do that. I just want to get home. So I call my neighbor. Shout out to my neighbor, Jeff. I've talked about my neighbor, Jeff, on the show before. My neighbor, Jeff, installs audio equipment for people, puts in theaters in their house. If anybody needs anybody putting speakers, surround sound, those automatic curtains and blinds, and, making a movie theater in their house. And he does it for like celebrities. He does it for everybody. So hit me up. And anyway, so I hit him up and I go, hey, Jeff, I need a crime podcast. I got like 2.5 hours, and you were talking about those crime podcasts. I need one. And he goes, all right, I got you. He goes, I just texted you 3. And I'm like, all right. So I look at one and I was like, let me start this one. Holy shit. Okay. I'm just going to say this. If you like, why does this keep coming up here? It's really starting to piss me off. All right. Anyway, sorry. I got shit popping up on the screen while I'm doing this. if you like true crime, okay? If you like true crime, if you listen to podcasts, which if you're listening to this, you do, watch this shit and thank me later. Okay. It was one of them. I'm almost pissed because it dominated a couple days. And then I figured out something that happened and I finished it a certain way. Anyway, the podcast he sent me is Up and Vanished. Payne Lindsay. Look that up. It was season 1. Payne Lindsay was a low budget movie director, documentary maker from Atlanta, millennial young guy. And I think KFC, Kevin Clancy on KFC Radio Barstool, he had him on. But anyway, he was going to make a documentary on a crime thing. And he looked up crime stuff and he was like, let me see what interests people. And he says, usually somebody that goes missing, a cold case, something like that. And he finds this woman in Ocilla, Georgia, who came home from something in 2005, October, I believe October 22nd, 2005. It was burned in my brain because of how many times I heard that. And she just disappeared. Never, nobody ever heard from her again. So he starts doing a podcast, because the reason he got inspired was because of Making a Murderer and The Jinx, which in my opinion are two of the best. But the best one for me, the best crime podcast or the best crime documentary or thing that I've ever listened to was The Staircase. So for me, the three best things that I've ever heard in crime or saw documentary wise was The Staircase, Making a Murderer, and The Jinx. And this was a podcast version of that. And the woman's name was Tara Grinstead. And she was like a teacher. She was like in a beauty queen pageant contestant, then judge. She was a social studies teacher, history teacher for I think 11th and 12th grade in Ocilla, Georgia. And the kid was like talking to somebody that investigated it. And he said, be careful, man. They're really quiet down there. It's weird. And dude, more characters come in and more things happen. And I'm driving home in a fucking half blizzard from Syracuse. And I'm going, dude, he did it. They did it. No, dude, he didn't do it. They did it. Oh my God. And I'm driving slower. And I'm going, this is the greatest thing. I can't even believe what I'm listening to right now. I can't even believe. Come to find out, this podcast solved it. This podcast started like 11 years after she went missing or helped solve it because things started getting stirred up because of it. People started getting threatened and shit, like people and things happened. And then all of a sudden, so he said, oh, it's going to be 12 episodes. And he's like, no, it's just going to be 18. So I tried listening all the way up to 18. And then I look and I see that there's 24. They just kept adding episodes. And finally I couldn't do it anymore because I was home and my wife, I'm just sitting on a thing, listening. I'm just like literally laying in bed. My kids are coming in and they're just hearing, but why was the body? And they're like, Paul, are we doing something today? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, this thing got me home from Syracuse, but now it's like dominating and finally I saw it was dominating my time. Finally, I saw something on like 48 hours, like Dateline 48 hours or whatever. And it was like an abbreviated of like what happened, even though I kind of knew what happened. And then I just listened to that for like 45 minutes and then it tied it all up and there was no reason to listen anymore. But guys, if you like crime and true stories and a whodunit and a guessing and this and that and new evidence and holy shit, dude, Up and Vanished season 1 is really, really amazing. And what this kid did, and now he's got they're helping solve, like they're helping with mysteries and people that have gone missing. And it turned into a crime podcast. And now all of a sudden, like it's like an investigative thing. So it's called Up and Vanished. And so yeah, I just had a whirlwind of, I mean, I had Jackass, I had Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I had a true crime podcast. I was doing new jokes on stage, having a great time. I was in a mall. I was in a storm. I was just, I mean, it was a very eventful weekend. I went to a diner that was like old school from the 1950s too. It was a really weird, I'm not going to lie, I had a really nostalgic weekend. You know, I was in a diner from the 50s and it still has the round stools that you sit at. And And I went to the movies for the first. It was like almost like life is kind of back to normal. And after the pandemic, it was kind of a weird, crazy thing. But I have some announcements coming up, guys. This week, I'm going to find out everything, and you're going to know everything. When my special is going, it's really exciting, and it would have been announced, but there's a lot of different moving parts now, and a lot of cool things that I've always dreamed about happening is happening. So I'm very humbled and grateful for that. But that's what that's what the delay is. But we're going to know very soon, so I'll announce that. There's more tour dates coming, and if you guys, what's funny is, like, I'm talking about like podcasts, and all of my friends and everybody else is talking about Russia and Ukraine and what Biden is doing. And guys, do you know how nice it is to not give a shit? I don't know. I know this is bad to say. I don't give a shit. I honestly don't give a shit. I don't care if I don't give a shit if Ukraine and fucking Russia went on a pay-per-view war on TV, on pay-per-view. I don't care anymore. I don't care about what's going on as long as people that I love and my family and my friends and everybody is healthy and the pandemic is going away. As far as people's health, I'm good. I'm done. I don't give a fuck about Ukraine. I don't give a fuck about Russia. I don't give a fuck about China. I don't care about none of this shit. Okay? I care about people that I love being happy and healthy and being safe. And that's why I started this podcast with stay away from trains and subways in New York City. I'm serious about that. If you come to New York City, get in a cab, get in an Uber, walk, stay around people, stay around the masses, and don't go underground. That's what I would say right now, at least. But yeah, I can care less about any of that shit. I'm sitting here talking about all, and I got friends like tweeting about this and that, and everybody's worried about this and that. Like, I don't care. Who's got the time for that? You ever look at some people's texts and tweets and go, the problem today is that the left thinks this or the right thinks this, but what about our children? And they need to reform that bill and that bill. The only thing that needs to be changed is in the cities with violence, making criminals get arrested and stay in jail. How about that? Can we just keep it at that? People are talking about all kinds of shit and international policies and all kinds of, I'm like, what? I don't give, like, I honest to God don't give a shit. I give a shit about, going into a city and being safe for that night. How about that? But I am going to be going to a lot of other cities, and I hope are safer. Where am I going to be? Guys, not tomorrow. This Thursday, I will be doing one night only, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh Improv. One night, one show. Joe Bartnick's coming with me. It's going to be an amazing night. We're going to have a great time. So if you are in the Pittsburgh area, definitely come out. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great show. And it's a one and done. So get your tickets, spread the word. This podcast should be out by then. So definitely do that. And then the following week, Texas, I'll be at the Vulcan Gas Company. Austin, Texas, Vulcan Gas Company, 2 shows Friday, March 4th, 2 shows Saturday, March 5th. So come out to that. It's going to be a great time. I had a great time in this venue. Such a cool spot. The fans couldn't be better. And I really, really enjoyed myself. So come out to that as well. And then I have Buffalo, I have Tampa, I have Rhode Island, I have San Diego. More will be added, and all tickets right now are available at paulvirzi.com. You can get tickets right there, right now, for all of them. And I really hope to see you guys at a show. And now, with all this mask mandate shit gone, I'd love to do meet and greets, take pictures, shake your hand. Thank you for coming out, and thank you for listening to the podcast and all that stuff, because that whole shit where we're staying away and all that, like, I want to meet the fans. I want to say what's up. If you come to my show, hang out afterwards. Watch, there's going to be another variant where you can't even look at somebody, or your fucking eyeballs are going to burn somebody's fucking skin. Who knows what's going to happen? But if it stays safe like this and the mandates are all down and stuff, hang out after a show. When I come out, I'd love to take a picture, shake your hand. I literally just shook my own hand. That's how Italian I am. I can't even say it without actually doing it. But come out. We'll have a great time. Take some pics, talk a little shit. And there you go. So all of those dates are available. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please. Oh my God, dude. I just thought of something real quick before I get out of here. There was a scene in Jackass Forever where it was a model. There was a model, like a model of like a boxing gym. Right. And it was all like almost like in a shoebox, you know, the way they make little figures, but the way the camera made it look real for a second. And there was a hole on the top, and one of the guys put his nutsack through it, through the roof of this model. So it looked like a speed bag. And then Johnny Knoxville had 2 boxing gloves on a drill, and they went up and they went in slow motion. And you just see this 2 gloves hitting this guy's ball bag, and his balls were just vibrating, and you see the pain in his face. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get over that. I don't know. Like, this guy was getting his ball bag drilled by these baby boxing gloves that were going so fast. And the way they super slow mode it, I'm like, that's got to affect this guy having kids or anything. I mean, I mean, the guy's older, but it was like, I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I'm just going like, that is just not cool, man. It's not okay. But I hope to see you guys. I hope to see you guys at a show. If you like true crime, check out Up and Vanished. Thank Me Later. The first season is mind blowing. Now you got to invest probably like 2 days to 3 days if you binge. If you binge, it'll be 3 to 4 days. If you don't, you could probably get it all done in 2 weeks, but I think it's nuts. And, I guess what I'll say is too, if anybody even knew about that case or knew anything, like, hit me up, because I'm fascinated with that stuff. And I think there's more cases like that, but nothing is better for me than the parents to know what happened. You know, you think about that stuff, and it's just amazing how you're like, these people have waited and waited and waited. You couldn't imagine that. Searches and this and that, and fucking, I mean, and then to at least get some sort of answer and to know, it you know, it makes you feel good. But there's some real fucking great people out there that try to help these things. There's clearly evil out there, but there's some really good people that want to help people. So I started out with this podcast being, don't go down to the trains. Let's try to do it on a positive note. There's good people out there, and you people listening to my podcast, you people are good people. All right. I have to go to New York City right now and do 3 shows and then fly out to Pittsburgh tomorrow. So I have to get going, but you guys are the shit. I appreciate you guys listening. Listen to my other podcast that I co-host with Bill Burr called Anything Better. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, come to a show, and there will be some announcements soon. You guys are the shit. This has been TVE 527, and I will be in a studio for TVE with a guest coming up very, very soon. And I will talk to you guys and see you guys then. If you have any guests that you'd like me to have, or any type of people you'd like me to have. Some people said some interesting ones. So write me and let me know. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care.